Veterans don't come back into society. Veterans never were a part of that society. See, you're in some place where you've been there for 4 years, and I don't know about you, but my formative years were when I was in the military. Welcome to the VetRise Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Perez. My goal is to make success after service accessible to every veteran in society. I believe in the power of leveraging your service, not as a label that defines you, but as a launching pad for your next chapter. What we have been doing hasn't been working, and it's on us to start changing the culture. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your time. Welcome, everybody, to episode 19 of the VetRise Podcast. This episode is going to be about nothing. So what does that mean, right? What does it mean when I say that this episode is going to be about nothing? It just means that there's no agenda. I don't have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. I just wanted to hop on here, and I wanted to have a chance to talk to you guys. I want to honestly say thank you to everybody that has been listening to the podcast, everybody that's been messaging me, sending me all this sort of support and reviewing and rating the podcast. Honestly, because of you guys, before we even hit 20 episodes, we've been able to get to over 1,000 downloads. And that is absolutely amazing. So I want to thank you guys all from the bottom of my heart for reaching out to me, for messaging me, for all the support. And you know who you are. So again, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So I want to start off on there, and I want to talk a little bit about who am I, what am I doing, and what is the point of all this? Now, this is not going to be the origin story of JP, Juan Perez, the veteran coach. This is going to be just some of my belief systems, some of the reason why I do what I do, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the struggling veteran, the new age veteran, and why the old school mentality is not working anymore. When we think about things the way that they used to be, we think of a society that was very much self-involved. We didn't have social media. We didn't have access to the way that things used to be. When I got out of the military, social media was around, but it wasn't what it was now. There are at least 10 to 15 veterans who weekly, actually, they're not even veterans. That's my point. There are at least 10 to 15 active duty guys that message me weekly, asking me, telling me that my videos are helping them think about transitioning out, or that they are getting ready to get out. And watching my videos has helped them realize that it's going to be difficult, but that they can actually do it in a way that they didn't think was even possible. They are preparing for getting out of the military much more than I ever did, much more than most veterans that were in with me ever did. We got out, we went to TAPS, and we get our DD-214, and then we just feel like it's the best day of our lives, and we're getting out, and we're going into this culture shock, right? But when we go into the military, like, we are going into a new culture, a new society, a new way of living. We make best friends. We develop bonds for life. We have leaders that lead us. We become leaders to others. And we don't realize that we're going to lose all that one day. One day we're going to leave, and we're going to lose all of that. And I think that's where the issue happens. I think that's where the issue happens, because we don't realize that one day all of this is going to be gone. And we think that, well, we can hang on to it. We can keep in touch with them. We can still be part of the military. We're not. Like, we have to accept that. And to be honest, it's a good thing that we're not part of the military anymore, because we have to create the life that we want for ourselves. So a lot of us, we get out and we move back home. Maybe we have a girlfriend that we started dating. Maybe we have a high school sweetheart. Maybe we move in with her, right? Which is what I did. And she wasn't a high school sweetheart, but it was one of the first women that actually showed me love and tenderness and you know, everything that I craved for when I was in the military, because I didn't get any of that. Being in an infantry unit, I wasn't with males. And I don't know if that's changed now. I don't really care or want to go into the politics of it today, at least. But I wasn't around any female Marines. So when I finally did feel like I was receiving love or support from this woman, that's what I did, right? I didn't have social media the same way that social media exists now. Like I said, there's veterans who are proactively asking questions. They're thinking about getting out. They're asking the hard questions. They're actually putting themselves out there. They're thinking about, what is it that I'm going to struggle with? What do I need to do now to make sure that I don't? And these are things that I never even thought about, right? So as they get out and they transition back home, again, maybe they move in with their parents. Maybe they get their own place. Maybe they stay where they're at. But they have to realize that there is going to be hardship. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's going to be hard. You're coming into a society, honestly, that you've never been a part of. Veterans don't come back into society. We were never a part of society. And I know you've heard me talk about this, especially if you've been following me for a while now. So we come into a society that we've never been a part of. We come into a society that we don't really know a lot about. And we have to learn. And how do we do that? How do we learn? We have to learn by being sponges, by being willing to ask questions, by being willing to speak up and realizing that we don't know everything. I don't care if you were in for 20 years or 4 years. You're coming out and you're going to have to learn. And we have to let go of the ego. We have to humble ourselves. We have to kill that ego. We have to let go of the mentality that we feel like we are self-sufficient. There's no such thing as a self-made man. We need help. We require help. And there's nothing wrong with that. But veterans don't come back into society. Veterans were never a part of society. We've been in this place for 4 years. And I don't know about you, but me, my formative years were when I was in the military. And then we leave that. And we lose our best friends. We lose our camaraderie. We lose our leadership. We lose the people we were leading, the mentors, the mentees, everything. And we have to learn a new language, a new set of skills, a new way of adapting. Honestly, it's like moving to a different country. You can't go from England to the United States and keep the same customs and courtesies. Some of the stuff may stay with you, but you have to learn, how is it that Americans live? You have to treat it that way. Because for me, I didn't know shit when I was 18. I didn't know anything about life. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. All of it was new for me, right? So when I got out, that was my chance to actually start living life the right way. And when you treat it that way, when you realize that, okay, I'm out now and I need to humble myself and I need to ask questions. I need to go through the process. I need to actually go to the VA, make my appointments, get my benefits. You can start reaching out to people that have been doing it a little bit longer than you. And don't just join the VFW. Now, listen, I'm not saying that my way is the only way. I'm not saying that this is the right way. All I'm saying is that if you've been out and you have been struggling, why not try something different? Why not give this a try? People confuse my message to saying that this is the way that it has to be. Not at all. I'm giving you a message of this is what worked for me. And if you are having a hard time, why not give it a try? So, go to the VFW, meet people, but don't just hang out there. The VFW was the first place where I met veterans that actually looked out for me. Joe and Danny, and I've talked about these guys before because they were there for me. They were my new squad leaders. They looked out for me. They made sure that I had a sustainable job. They made sure that I got enrolled in school. They made sure that my benefits were all applied for. And it meant a lot to me because without them, I don't know where I'd be. Right? So get out, go to school, enroll, get your benefits. Look for veterans who have been doing this a little bit longer than you and ask questions. And be a sponge. Be willing to learn. And actually go to your VA appointment. You know, we complain and we bitch and we say that, well, you know, the appointment, the time wasn't right for me. Or, you know, I missed the appointment and now they're not answering my emails or my phone calls. Like, yeah, you missed the appointment. Make it to the appointment on time. I think that we do a very great job of feeling like, look, we're badasses. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of skills that we can leverage. We've done a lot, but we have to keep doing a lot. We have to keep being those badasses. It doesn't just come with you. You can't rest on the laurels of your past. And as you get out and you make the same mistakes over and over again, you have to learn from them. Because if you don't learn from them, then what are you doing? So again, we get out, we move back home. Hopefully you made some connections. Hopefully you don't resort to drinking all the time. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what that year looks like. You push away from the control, or at least you think it's control. You don't PT. Maybe you do just a little bit. You eat whatever you want. You wake up at whatever time you want because you feel like you're free. A lot of people have compared getting out of the military to getting out of jail. And I'm not saying that the two are equivalent. I'm just saying that if you think about it, you're going from a structured schedule of doing this at this time and always doing this at this time and eating this at this time to having complete freedom. So I understand the comparison. I wouldn't say it's the same because you have many more skills as a veteran, absolutely. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you are going from this controlled environment that you are told where to be, what time to be there, and what to do for the most part. And even when you become a leader, you are still held accountable. You still are in charge of your junior Marines or soldiers or airmen. So you take that year and you do whatever you want and you feel like, well, I don't have to show up to PT at this time, or I don't have to do this at this time. That's fine. I get that. But then when you start having a hard time, you have to remember, what was it that helped you in the past? What was it that kept you disciplined? It was the order. It was the fact that you had a routine. Look, you don't have to go to the gym and destroy yourself for 2 hours anymore. You don't have to only eat the food that they give you. You can choose what to eat, but you have to make the right choices. You have to make the right connections. You have to make the right decisions. And if you get out and you look for other veterans who are doing better than you, not worse, don't go and try and feel like you're going to look for this echo chamber of veterans who are having a hard time. And then all of a sudden you guys are all going to do better. It doesn't work that way. You guys will just drag each other down. And I really do mean that. You can't help everybody. We all know those veterans that nobody likes to talk about. Nobody likes to pretend that people like to pretend that they don't exist because we don't like to address it, right? There are a lot of veterans out here who are not doing well, who want to see other veterans do bad, who want to blame society, who want to say that they are miserable and they don't fit in because society is this and society is that, and all they want to do is go back in and they are this warrior and this alpha and they don't need nobody. Like, that's not the way to live. First of all, you're not a warrior anymore. You're not fighting any wars. You have a warrior mentality. You can be an alpha. You can be ready. You can pick up that sword when you need to. But there is no wars out here to fight. You have to be able to find peace. Create peace. Stop thinking that you have to be on edge all the time. Stop thinking that you have to be hyper alert, because you know what? It's starting to look like paranoia. Now, do not get my words twisted. I'm not telling you to be soft. I'm not telling you to be weak. I'm not telling you to be a beta. I'm not telling you any of those things. I'm telling you that you are very capable and you can create peace for yourself and finally be able to live an abundant life. You don't have to feel like you have to suffer all the time, because that's what we're used to. We don't have to suffer anymore. Remember that your life is in your hands. Nobody is going to do it for you. Nobody is going to come and save you. It's on you. It's on you. So if you take that year after you're out and you go down the wrong path, that's fine. You can still divert. You can still change the trajectory of your life by making different decisions on a daily basis. Wake up with intention and actually decide, what am I going to do today? Use your calendar as a map. Put it on your calendar. Make it happen. Stop coming up with excuses that you think are reasons to why you can't succeed. Look, you don't want anybody to feel sorry for you, right? So why are you feeling sorry for yourself? Look, you have done so much for so long with so little that you can do anything. And if you've been out for 10 years and you're doing better than you were before, then celebrate that. Celebrate the wins. I'm proud of you, but you can still do more, right? And deep down inside, you know that too. And you know that if this is hitting home with you, if this is like, damn, he's talking to me, well, then listen. If you feel like this message for you, then listen. So if you've been out for 10, 20 years and you're doing better, I'm proud of you. I celebrate that. You should celebrate that. But that doesn't mean that you have other limits. That doesn't mean that you can't work on yourself more. It doesn't mean you can't accomplish more. Keep striving for more. You deserve so much more in life because you are working forward. You are working forward, not backwards. And that's going to be it for today. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate all the support from everybody. So if you're listening to this, do me a favor. Give the podcast a rating. Give the podcast a review. Share it. A lot of people message me saying how much my podcast helps them. Well, this is me imploring and asking you, let's do something about that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if it's the morning, if it's nighttime, whatever time you're listening to this, the day is not over. Take action. Do something hard. Be intentional with your day because you know what? Nobody's going to do it for you. Thank you for your time. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply just gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join this mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together as veterans. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.